Panzanella Salad. This comes to us from Italy. One of my favorites. Want to know why? No lettuce. Nothing to get stuck in your teeth. It's so great. So if you have any old bread laying around, just make sure it's like artesian. But I have sourdough today. You can use French baguettes, whatever you'd like. Anything artesian. We're going to cut it into big old hunks, slices, and then we're going to dice it up into big, thick cubes. Then all we're going to do is set it on a parchment paper lined baking sheet and set it to the side. Yum City. We're going to make crunchy, crunchy croutons out of this. Now what you do is you want to make sure and try and get it all on one level. That's just for even baking. Set it to the side. We'll worry about that again later. Now here is a small eggplant that I've already peeled, and now I'm just cubing it up and throwing it in a bowl. How easy is that? Did I mention it's a one-pan dinner? Well, in this case two, but still, not a lot of dishes. This is a hearty, hearty meal for any occasion. Super, super good. So once I get these all done, I'm going to add artichoke hearts. These artichoke hearts have already been quartered, and they come in a mixture of brine and olive oil. That's the kind you want, because the oil is going to help roast all of our vegetables. If it's purely water or purely brine, drain it off, and we'll just replace it with olive oil. Now this is a red pepper. I'm going to cut it into big strips and then big chunks as well. Now here I go showing off my surgical knife skills by removing that white pith. That tastes like really bitter. Don't do that. Don't leave it on there. So I'm going to cut these again into bigger chunks, and they're going to go in the bowl. Now the beauty of Panzanella salad is you can use any vegetables that you like. It's a healthy, healthy thing to eat. And you just want to think about color and textures and all that stuff. But here's one thing it does need. Tomatoes. These are little cherry tomatoes. Now to this, we're going to season them up. So to ensure my seasoning sticks to them, I'm going to do a wee drizzle of olive oil. Then I'm going to give it a healthy pinch of salt and a healthy pinch of pepper. You got to season your veg, folks. Now here's something you might not expect. This is a 1 teaspoon of sugar. It brings out the sweetness of the tomatoes, plus it also helps caramelize everything. Now I'm going to give this a stir. Make sure all that flavor and seasoning is all around. And then we're going to transfer it over to a baking sheet, once again, that I have lined with parchment paper. What? Once we get it on there, oh wait, I'm sorry. Now we're going to do the protein. You can do any kind of protein you like. I'm using hot and spicy Italian sausage. I'm cutting it into rings. And you can see I left the casing on there. And that's just so you don't have a big old, it doesn't fall apart. And you got a big hunk of meat over here and a tiny one over there. You want all the bites to be uniform. So now we bring over the cookie sheet with the parchment paper. Now I'm laying these flat down before I add all the rest of the veg. And that's because I want them to get as much surface heat as possible when they're cooking. It is a pork product and you want it to bake all the way through. Plus, any oil that gets released by them is going to flavor up the vegetables. I'm spooning these out because I don't want to disrupt how I have the sausages placed. Once I get them all in there, I'm going to give them a little pat down. Then we're going to stick them in the oven at 400 degrees for 10 minutes. We don't put our bread in yet, though. That's still sitting to the side, just thinking about how cool it is. So once I get everything in here too, I'm going to take the rest of that liquid from the bottom of that bowl and I'm going to dump it on all over the veg. Because remember, that has the oil that's going to roast our veg. So, in the oven. Here's some green onion that I cut up to add at the last minute for freshness and looks and flavor. So 10 minutes later, these veg are out. Now, they're not cooked, but remember how I want it all on one level? Well, vegetables tend to shrink when they cook. Tip of the day. So now I have little openings that I can shove everything else down to make it a single layer. Smarticles! Now, when I put that back in the oven, I put the bread in with it for 15 minutes. And then it came out crunchy, crunchy croutons. I put them in the bottom of the bowl. Now, while I was doing this, I had my broiler on high for like 4 to 5 minutes. Just to make sure everything got good and good and good. And it did. It's good. You can see the tomatoes bursting right there. They're just full of flavor. They're concentrated down, all the flavors of all these vegetables. It's so tasty. Now, I started spooning it in, but that was taking too much time and I'm hungry. So, let's just dump it all in there. That's how I do it anyway. Once I get the bowl underneath it, let's turn it to the side and we are going to let all the juices and everything else off of that pan go in there as well. And that's why you have your crunchy croutons on the bottom. Now we're going to give it a good sound mixing. Look at the steam coming off of that. And the smell is wonderful. We're going to add just a bit more olive oil just for some freshness, and then make sure it's a good olive oil, not some cheapo stuff. Just a good extra virgin olive oil. Once it's mixed up, we're going to add our green onion, which you'll see what it does. It lays on top like the sliced green onion that it is. Bam! And we're going to mix it together. That oniony, light oniony flavor is going to go all through it, and plus it gives a little bit of freshness to the dish. Now, once I get this all mixed together, I'm going to serve it up and we're going to mow down. Check this out. We're going to make it rain Parmesan. Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Also, please consider subscribing. Tons of videos here. Bye.